So the question is, I also want to see Jesus alive and active in this world. I want to experience his Spirit moving. But how does that happen this many years after Easter? How do we get Jesus to appear again? How does Christ and where does Christ show up to answer our questions so that we can recognize him walking with us? The short answer, at least the one I see in this story, is that we see Christ most clearly by reading the Bible together. Well, isn't that the most boring, churchiest, preachiest answer you've ever gotten? What should we do to see Jesus? Read the Bible. It sounds dorky. It sounds simplistic. And yet, as a pastor, I have to say, I believe it's quite true. If we want to see Jesus resurrected, living and active, if we want to make sense of what's going on in our lives and in this world and for our church, the most basic Christian Easter response we can do is spend time together on the road, at the tables, talking, worshiping, and reading Scripture. I want to see Jesus risen, alive, calling to me, and I believe many of you do as well. But I believe for that to happen, for us to see and experience the living, moving, breathing Spirit of God, Spirit of Christ in our world, we together, remember the two disciples are together discussing on the road, must spend quality time processing what we're going through and seeing in the world, and also feasting on the simple texts of Scripture. Bible study, Bible reading. That sounds pretty boring. It definitely sounds very unsexy. But it's the core of what we do as a church. And trust me, it can be incredibly rich and rewarding. Many of my most memorable, most powerful experiences at conference annual meetings, at pastor gatherings, at small groups, is when we simply sit down for 10 minutes or 20 minutes and read Scripture and talk about it together. Jesus. So toward this end, in order to do this core practice of worshiping together, yes, but of also reading Scripture together weekly, I invite you in the month of May to come join me on Wednesday lunch hours. Wednesdays at noon during May. Not this coming week, but the week after. And come to the picnic tables here under the oak trees at the church building, or if the weather's not good, we'll be in the fellowship hall, and we'll simply spend a half hour reading Scripture together, reflecting on what we notice about Jesus in those texts. Bring a lunch, bring yourself, and by the grace of God, we'll see Jesus walking alongside us, sitting at the table, alive and active. Join me. May it be so.